I lift the cheek to you, Indiana basketball. That's right. Lose by 20 at Nebraska. Look, you can lose a game, but you got your ass beat all game. Mike Woodson, just do us all a favor. Retire. You're using this as a retirement job. Also, when players come through college football and basketball, we got to listen to them. So now we got to listen to J.J. McCarthy tell us who's cheating in college football. He's giving me gas, and guess what? Kyrie Irving is mad about a Jewish rabbi's sign. I lift the cheek to all of you as we start Don't At Me right now. Oh, man, good morning and welcome. We got to listen to college athletes for about 2 minutes. Remember that little guy, Bohannon, the Iowa player that got punched out in the bar? We had to listen to him. Frank Kaminsky, Nigel Harris. We got to listen to all these guys, and then they go to the G League or wherever, and they go away. I'm going to get into IU basketball in a minute. My rage, it's just, see that right there? That means a lot to me. My rage for IU basketball is... that's red up there. See that dot right there? That's just part of the blood coming out of my head anyway. We got to listen to these guys, particularly when they win. And there's nothing worse other than listening to your wife after you've had a hard day's work complain about something, or your husband complain about something. But listening to college athletes, I lift the cheek. They're awful. They're horrible. There's nothing about them that says they know anything about the world other than their sport, their school, and what sorority is hot and where they're going on spring break. But J.J. McCarthy, because he's won, we've now got to listen to him. J.J. McCarthy defending cheating. It's amazing what we'll defend. I've already seen people defend Bill Clinton being on Pedo Island. That's Pedophile Island. That's Jeffrey Epstein, the man who did not commit suicide. And by the way, no matter what I say on this show about Epstein, Hillary, or Bill Clinton, I am not suicidal. I am very happy. I wake up every day thanking God for my life, my wife, my kids, my children, my job, everything. So if you read that I've, quote, overdosed, don't buy it. Investigation, please. Anyway, we got to listen to athletes. J.J. McCarthy, he of the lisp. He of the spiritual one. Okay, great. I know you're going to win national championship, and then we got to listen to you forever until you're kicking around like A.J. McCarron somewhere, and then we don't have to listen to you. But as a college athlete now, we got to listen to you. Okay. He's addressing the sign stealing, and like everybody else in this world, he's saying it's okay. Why, you ask? Because everyone's doing it. I said that in my J.J. McCarthy voice. Everyone's doing it. Okay, everyone's doing it. I don't want to say a crazy number, McCarthy's saying, so he's gonna. You know what I'm saying? But, now you know our theory. Everything said before the word but doesn't matter, because you're going to see a crazy number. 80% of the teams in college football steal signs. Now, JJ, how do you know that? So, JJ, let's walk through this. 80%, 8 out of 10. Okay. It's just a thing about football. All right? It's been around for years. Oh, well, you haven't, so how do you know? We actually had to adapt because in 20 and 19, when Ohio State was stealing our signs, which was legal, we had to get up to the level they were at, and we had to make it an even playing field. Well, they didn't want to play Ohio State in 20. They didn't play Ohio State in 20. Remember, that was COVID year. Michigan lost to the likes of Michael Penix in Indiana. They didn't play. So J.J. McCarthy is full of shit, which is absolutely what every college athlete is. Well, not every college athlete. Every college football and basketball athlete are. Your gymnasts, your swimmers, your golfers, they're not. They're serious people with serious academia. J.J. McCarthy's a nice little player. He's a nice little player. Seems like a really nice kid. The kind of kid you want your wife, oh, not your wife, your girlfriend dating. If my wife dated him, I'd have a problem. Not a problem. But anyway, so now we got to listen. 80% are stealing signs, but that's not the issue. Of course that's not the issue. Are they hiring a guy to sit across from other teams on the road, which is absolutely illegal, to steal those signs? But again, J.J. McCarthy won. He sits at the goalposts. We had Allison Williams say, I've never met an athlete like him. Okay, all right. He'll be like every other athlete. They all are. I remember when I went to Michigan, and Spike Ulbrich, who I love, Glenn Robinson Jr., and a guy named Mitch McGarry were the rage at Michigan. And parents had to go down to this little room after the game. And these guys are walking around like they own the joint, right? And I'm thinking to myself, about 3 or 4 years, they'll be looking for jobs just like the rest of us. I lived it. I did. I was Bamak, even though I averaged like 2 points on campus. I was Bamak, even though I averaged 2 points. Bamak, big man on campus at Indiana. I knew the deal. As soon as the season's over, I know the deal. But JJ's telling us 80%. JJ, shut up and win football games. Seriously, I'm starting to become shut up and dribble guy, and you'll know why in our next story. I am. I'm starting to be shut up and dribble guy. Just shut up. I don't want to hear your philosophy. I didn't want to hear, what's that guy's name at Indiana, Cooper Kupp or whatever, with his headband. I don't want to hear any of it. I don't hear none of it. Just shut up and dribble is my new theory, particularly you college kids. You're going to be out there trying to be the backup quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks in about 1.5 years, and no one's going to care, and we're going to look back and go, he's a great Michigan quarterback. Great. Wonderful. 80%. Yeah, you're trying to steal them off of TV. Yeah, you're looking at them, and that's why people put those big hoods up so they can't see them on TV. But not one school, at least yet, it has an FBI investigation by the offensive coordinator for stealing others' computer information, practice plans, practice tape, and all. Not another one has a pedophile that's been arrested. Not another one has a guy that they fired for paying him and others to go steal signs in person. So just shut up with it. Just don't even talk about it. Just say, hey, look, man, this is great. I can't wait. It's awesome. Right? I mean, am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. I think I'm right. I think I'm absolutely right. Whatever philosopher, player that you're listening to right now, just remember Nigel Hayes. Where's Nigel Hayes? Nigel Hayes walked around with a sign on game day, poor college student, because all Nigel was getting was a full ride to Wisconsin, Pell Grant money of about $5,000, and then whatever else. All right? And we had to listen to him for about 10 minutes. And then he went away. Nobody knows where Nigel Hayes is now. Last we seen of that mouth Jordan Bohannon, he was getting punched out in a bar. Nobody knows where these guys are. I'm sure they're both in Iowa and Wisconsin running a basketball camp or being an athletic trainer. That's it. That's all they got. Serious business. I lift the cheek. Hey, speaking of athletes that we don't want to listen to, one of our favorites is Kyrie Irving. You got to admit, Kyrie Irving he's a philosopher. He's an idiot. That's it. He's an idiot. A rabbi, and tomorrow we're going to have the mayor of this town by South Lake City talk about this, but I wanted to talk about this right now. A rabbi claims that the Utah Jazz made him put away a pro-Jewish sign after Kyrie Irving complained. The team made a weak statement, and Irving's PR team is denying it. Irving has to always have a PR team because he's a stone idiot. The earth is flat, man. I'm a philosopher. Okay, you're a philosopher. Yay, Rob. What's your philosophy? Earth is flat. Earth is flat. Okay. I'm pro-Palestine, pro-Hamas. Shut up. Just shut up. I don't know if he's pro-Palestine and pro-Hamas, but apparently he's anti-Jewish. Apparently, there's the sign. I'm a Jew and I'm proud, and that offended Kyrie Irving. Now, Kyrie Irving, his PR team reached out to OutKick. You know what? I'll give Irving credit for that. At least he is, so sensitive that his PR team reaches out. Kyrie saw the sign at the 9:40 mark of the first half. This is so funny to me. I mean, think about what all goes on here. Kyrie saw the sign at 9:40. He commented, no need to bring that to a game. Why do these players get to decide what needs to be brought to a game? Why does this jackass need to decide what is brought to a game, what is not brought to a game, what is put in front, not put in front? I understand if they say something racial or sexist or misogynist or whatever. This dude's just a Jew and he's proud. Jewish people make up only 2% of our society, and he's proud. And Jewish people apparently make all you all crazy. Kyrie Irving saw the sign. No need to bring that to the game. Like the great philosopher, the 28, 29-year-old philosopher. No need. Really? Well, no need to bring Go Jazz Go either. Jazz officials came over, checked our ticket. We were told to put their signs away. Weak sauce. Well, yeah. You're not allowed to be proud as a Jewish person? I guarantee you no one's doing nothing about I'm black and I'm proud. I saw Black Lives Matter on the court. I see end racism. And thank God they do that in the NFL because that's really helped. The Utah Jazz Code of Conduct is in place so that games can be played without distraction or disruption no matter where someone is in the arena. If the sign becomes distracting or sparks an interaction with a player, we will ask them to remove it. That's fair enough. But why is Kyrie Irving so anti-Semitic that bothers him? Why does it bother him? It wouldn't bother him if a dude stood a sign up said, I'm black and I'm proud. I mean, you know, you think I would be thrown out if I were at a Utah Jazz game and I got mad at somebody that had a sign that said, I'm black and I'm proud? Hell no. I would be thrown out. I would be tossed. I would get the boot. Not the guy with the sign. The sign would stay. In fact, they would look around and probably print more and hand them out at the next game because, you know, that would mean the Utah Jazz are down for the cause. And we all got to be down for the cause. During an out-of-bounds play in the first quarter of yesterday's Jazz game against the Dallas Mavericks, there was a group sitting courtside whose sign sparked an interaction with a player that created a distraction and interfered with play of game. Oh, really? As the next step in a standard security protocol, the fans were asked to take down the signs. The part-time employee who told the fans it was the content of the sign that was the problem and was incorrect. Oh. So they said, look, we don't like that sign because of what it said. Oh. Well, how is it incorrect? Let me ask you this question. How is it incorrect? The reason Kyrie Irving got mad was why? Wait for it. Hold it. The content of the sign. Does everybody understand that? The content of the sign made him mad. So how can you say the content of the sign was incorrect as to why they took it away? Look, we understand Jewish people are under attack. They've always been under attack. But Kyrie Irving needs to grow the hell up. Needs to shut up, grow up, and dribble. Yeah, I said it. I'm normally not that guy. But I said it. Guy wants to say he's proud as a Jew. What's the problem? You say you're proud as a black man. I mean, what's wrong? Well, I got no problem with that. Just like I got no problem with a guy saying he's Jewish. Why do you, Kyrie? You anti-Semitic? I'm guessing you are. Or you're just an idiot, which I'm guessing you are too. Give me a minute. Give me a minute here, because I'm going to get to Vivek Ramaswamy just absolutely crushing the soul of reporters. He's our favorite. I'm voting for him as of right now. I'm going to tell you right now. I don't give a damn what you say. I see what's happening. I'm going to get to it. But first, see this right here? Mike Woodson, you need to resign. You just need to resign. I've never said that about an Indiana coach. Actually, you don't need to resign right now. Season's over. Tell your story walking. This is a retirement gig. It's clear. There is no toughness in this program. They got beat by 20 last night, and it wasn't even that close. There is no heart in this program. There is no defensive setup in this program. There is no player development in this program. There is nothing about our program. I was told it's a lifetime proposition. Jimmy Cruz, this isn't a 4-year proposition. This is a lifetime proposition. Cute words. But I am the guy that for years and years and years told you Indiana needs a Indiana guy coaching. I was not happy when they hired Woodson. I was not sad when they hired Woodson. I figured, all right, Woodson, you're an NBA guy. You'll bring some NBA stuff. African-American guy. You're going to be able to recruit. Let's go. I wanted Alford, a real coach, a real Indiana icon. Hell, Mike Woodson won one game. And Butch Carter was the star, and all the guys in that in 1980 don't like Butch Carter. But I don't care. Mike Woodson lost to frickin' Purdue in the NCAA tournament. So I don't want to hear about 2,000 points. That's A.J. Guyton-esque. We score a lot of points, don't win squat. Mike Woodson's recruiting class was the first in Bob Knight history not to make a Final Four. Mine was second. But hell, we lost all our guys, so did Woody. I like Woodson. Nice guy. I don't know him. He always seemed kind of above it and lazy to me. But now I've had enough. Now I'm watching, and this kid right here, Tomanga, I can't never say his name, is fun to watch. Little Asian kid that just kicked Indiana's ass. And you see the guy there guarding him for Indiana, number 0, Xavier Johnson? Xavier Johnson, my ass. It's his 6th year in college, hasn't done squat, sits out for a month for whatever injury he has or doesn't have, and Woodson's dumbass puts him right back into the starting lineup. And then after the game, Woodson has the stones to say, hey, my starting guards were terrible. Well, yeah, you were worse because you put this guy in. It's not like he's a leader. Players on the team don't respect that guy. He's a mouth. He's a talker. Never won squat. He's a clubhouse lawyer, but Woodson has the stones to blame it on them, and here's even worse. After finishing, I guess, in a tie for second in the Big Ten with a first-team All-American in Trace Jackson Davis, Indiana gave Woodson another $1 million a year. It's a retirement gig. I showed you the pictures. Game's over against Kansas. Let's get in our sweats. Let's drink some red wine. Let's smoke some cigars. Get the hell out if you're not going to work at it. Because people like me care. I was there 17 years. People like me give a shit. People like me ran out, it's part of my DNA. And to watch this crap, this garbage, route it, look at this. This dude here on Indiana looks like a dude on every other team. This Renault guy has a big game against Kennesaw or Moorhead, and everybody goes, wow. No Indiana kids, no energy, quit during the NCAA tournament. It's embarrassing. 20 to Nebraska? Hey, you can lose at Nebraska, what are you going to do? Game was like 8 at halftime, and it never got close. I just turned it off and said, I'm going to watch 2.5 men. I mean, honest to God, get the sad out, Indiana fans. What's happening at Indiana basketball is absurd. And the arrogance. See, Woodson hired his buddies. He's got this guy at the end of the bench, Armand Hill, who falls. Look at this guy. He looks like a girl. Seriously. I mean, honest to God, we got the headband, we got the barrettes, and this isn't Indiana. I don't give a damn if you're white or black. Act like Indiana. Look tough. Be tough. Look at this. Oh, my gosh, guys. Nebraska's killing us. And we got 36 little blogger boys. They'll tell you this guy's great. This guy Cups here played in one game, played well against the Division 8 team, Florida Gulf Coast. Everybody said he's great. I said, wait a second. Hold on. They played against a bad mid-major team. Maybe he's a mid-major player. He hadn't done squat. What, guys? Jeez. The softest, most ridiculous team in college basketball. See, I told Nick and Nick, they're young guys. The sad thing is most people watching this that follow college basketball are like, what are you talking about, Dan? Indiana always stinks. Didn't always stink. We stink now. And Woodson, just finish out the year and be gone and take those idiots with you. Take Coach whatever, Red or Rowe or whatever the hell these guys are, and just go. No player development, no defensive setup, no offensive strategy, no toughness, no pride, nothing. They'll win a home game or two. Jesus, it's unbelievable. If I had a local radio show, it would be a fireable day. But I know we got national people here, so you don't care. So just let the red on my head here, it's going to explode. Let me rub my head nice and be done with it. Gritty, I feel you, baby. I feel you. And then Woodson has the stones to say, my guard stunk. Well, you started a 6-year guy who has never won squat, who was hurt, and we don't even know maybe he just didn't want to play. Who knows? And he'll start him again on Saturday against Ohio State, and they'll probably win. All right, I'm voting for Vivek Ramaswamy as it stands right here. We need somebody with some balls. I've had enough of a lack of sack. The show was going to be called Sack Up. Apparently Fox didn't want it to be. But that's what this show needs to be. Calling out people for lack of sack. And Ramaswamy does not lack for sack. He just went scorched earth on a little girl. Hi, I'm with the Washington Post. You didn't say that you condemn white supremacy, is what this little girl reporter for the Washington Post said. And Ramaswamy made her regret it easily. Easily. And then another little report. Hi, I'm with the Washington Post. They gave me this job because I'm a female. And then somebody tried him on crime. Let's go to Ramaswamy destroying this little girl reporter over, my brain just went dead, excuse me, over white supremacy. Let's hear Ramaswamy.
You didn't say that you condemn white supremacy, though.
I'm not going to recite some catechism for you. I'm against vicious racial discrimination in this country. So I'm not pledging allegiance to your new religion of modern wokeism, which actually fits the test. I'm not going to bend the knee to your religion. I'm sorry. I'm not asking you to bend the knee to mine, and I'm not going to bend the knee to yours. But do I condemn vicious racial discrimination? Yes, I do. Am I going to play your silly game of gotcha? No, I'm not. And frankly, this is why people have lost trust. And I know you're going to go print the headline tomorrow. I already know this. We already know how your game works. Vivek Ramaswamy refuses to condemn white supremacy because you asked a stupid question. The reality is, I condemn vicious racial discrimination in this country, but the kind of vicious and systematic racial discrimination we see today is discrimination on the basis of race in a very different direction. You want to know what the best way is to end discrimination on the basis of race? Stop discriminating on the basis of race. Do that, and we're going to move this country forward. And I don't care whether you're black or white or brown or anything in between. That's how we're going to unite this country. You people have been responsible for dividing this country to a breaking point, creating a projection of national division. I meet people from the south side of Chicago to meetings like this one of every shade of melanin, multiple, from man to woman, doesn't make a difference, who are hungry for reviving unity in this country. And you, with your catechism that you try to get to politicians to whatever fake headline you're going to print on the basis of this conversation tomorrow, that's what's dividing this country to a breaking point. Shame on you.
How good is that? He's right. Oh, we see it all the time. I mean, we want our own little headlines. I mean, we see it in sports. We see it in politics. Ramaswamy did not disavow. I asked him specifically about white supremacy, and he didn't disavow it. That's the headline. He just gave you the best answer you're ever going to hear. How are you not going to vote for him? Seriously. Now, here's what's happening. They know Ramaswamy makes sense, so they're trying to push him out. Who have you seen lately everywhere? Everywhere. Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley, you can turn on and they're talking about Nikki Haley. They're trying to push Nikki Haley. They're pushing and pushing and pushing. Why? Because Ramaswamy's dangerous. He's the best candidate to be president at this point. Now, that may change, and I reserve the right to change. But as I sit here right now, he's like Trump was back before he got elected in 2016. I don't give a damn if you're on the left. I don't give a damn if you're on the right. If you're not just beholden to a party and you actually pay attention to what somebody says, there's no other choice but to vote for. Now, I get it. Things come in. I understand that my allegiance to my party, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't even know if I have a party. I just pay attention to who the hell says what, who the hell means what, and who the hell does what. But honest to God, that was one of the greatest speeches ever in terms of modern journalism, politics, headlines, gotcha, ever. And this is another one. This is a discussion because, again, everybody's trying to play gotcha with Ramaswamy. This is a discussion, a question on crime. And they wanted it to go black folks being victims. Here's Ramaswamy.
Well, look, Jussie Smollett is a made-up case of white supremacy. I mean, that's the real answer to this question. If you think about what happened in Waukesha or in other cases, there's a selective disclosure of the number of cases that the mainstream media frets about versus, you want to think about how many You know, if people really gave a damn about black lives in this country, they would be talking about the number of black deaths in places like the inner city of Chicago or elsewhere. But somehow people in this country don't care about black-on-black crime. They only look with magnifying lens after the one case that allows them to prove a political point. So, yes, I actually do care about protecting the lives of Americans. And if so, we would be supporting policies rather than clearing the jails and defunding the police. We would actually be standing for what lifts up all Americans, allowing police officers to do their jobs without fear of being sued for looking over their shoulders and doing the wrong thing. Nobody seems to care about that, or simply more interested in making a political point or a stunt out of the one instance. If you go to the federal law enforcement tables of black on black, black on Asian, Asian on black, white on black crime, it doesn't tell a story of systemic racism at all. It tells a story of violent crime going up for all races in this country. How about we actually address that? And for places I've traveled, including from the inner cities of this country, I think that's what many of the victims who are suffering actually care about. People who are cloistered in some sort of East Coast coffee shop or whatever that want to feel better about themselves to fill their own vacuum of purpose in their own lives might feel better about chanting BLM or some other slogan. But I don't think that that's actually doing much to advance American lives or black lives in this country. And I reject that mythology.
That's so good. Because he's right. Oh, he's right. Every African-American that I know is like, hey, you think anybody wants to be a victim of this crap? You don't think we want this cleaned up? He's absolutely right. Go follow Reverend Charles Harrison, the only guy with any stones. Now, our boy Doyle tries to chime in there and make it about himself like he's a hero, but don't pay attention to that nonsense. Pay attention to Charles Harrison, or pay attention to my friend Reggie Jones and others who will tell you, you think we want as black people killing each other? We got to get to the problem of our problem. We got to get to a homeless, a fatherless. You know, Charles Harrison, a reverend here in Indy, put it out, 74% African-American kids fatherless. Man, nobody came at him now. All of a sudden, the tide is turning. Remember a couple years ago, Tony Dungy said that, and the world went crazy. Obama, the savior of all things, said that, and nobody gave a rat's ass. Well, guess what? Now you can say it because it's a real problem. And Ramaswamy saying these things is awesome. Yeah, if you don't like Ramaswamy, that's on you. I get it. But if you don't like these words, I can't help you. And maybe he said something 5 years ago that you don't like. I don't care. Or maybe he did something you don't like. I don't care. That's the guy to vote for. That right there. You know, maybe you're just presidents against his name. Well, hell, a few years after 9/11, we elected a guy whose middle name was Hussein. So that ain't the problem. I mean, just stop with the stupid. And let's get down to real brass tacks. Like, people are still being idiots about Claudine Gay. Well, black woman, fired. Racism, shut up. Plagiarist, fired. Anti-Semite, fired. Put her students on her campus at Harvard in jeopardy, fired. You do all that as a president, you're going to get fired. I don't give a damn if you're black or white or whatever. And frankly, the white lady at Penn, fired. Same thing. Just shut up with all that stuff. Joe Rogan not having it. Joe Rogan jumping in here, and I like it, with our friend Riley Gaines. Joe Rogan, he not having any Keith Olbermann. And Joe Rogan, for whatever the reason, has become the most powerful dude walking. That's right. When Joe Rogan speaks it gets spoke. It does. It really does. And Joe Rogan defended our friend Riley Gaines against Keith Olbermann. Let's hear from Rogan.
Did you see Keith Olbermann went after Riley Gaines?
Who's Riley Gaines?
Riley Gaines is that lady that lost to Leah Thomas, or the one who, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So she's the real, winner, female winner.
Yeah.
And this male competes as a female and beats her. And so Keith Olbermann said some ridiculous. He doesn't have any athletic accomplishments. And so she makes a video in response showing all the awards that she's won.
Yeah.
She's a serious fucking accomplished athlete. She's an amazing athlete. But for this insane to say this, but you got to see the video because it's pretty amazing.
Grace.
Yeah, and Olbermann came at her and said she was a loser. And Olbermann, of course, the wide-hipped, never played, self-described funny politician guy, never played nothing. I mean, you know what? Who gives a rat's ass? But Riley Gaines did crush his soul. She brought out all of her trophies and was like, hey, man, I don't know, I did pretty good until dudes started competing. And I love the fact that Riley Gaines continues, and her platform is growing. And I love the fact that Rogan saw it. Speaking of platform growing, how about the Live Tour and Rory McIlroy? See, you always have somebody bigger than you to smack you down. So Rory McIlroy, well, here's what Rory McIlroy said about the Live Tour. Now, he's been the mouth. He's been the whiner. He's been the complainer. All of a sudden, Jon Rahm, who is better than McIlroy, jumps ship. Jon Rahm's a friend. Jon Rahm is bigger in golf than McIlroy. You know, McIlroy knows he could talk, and Dustin Johnson don't care. He's too busy doing whatever he does, stooping Paulina Gretzky. He don't care. Bryson DeChambeau, But Jon Rahm, woo, taking all that money, that changed McIlroy's tune big time. Here's what this whiner had to say. I think at this moment, McIlroy said, I was maybe a little bit judgmental. Really? Really? You? No way, of guys who went to Live Golf at the start. No. Not at the start, at the middle, at the end. You've been judgmental the whole time, you poss. And the reason I say he's a poss, I'll tell you, you don't mess with other people's money. You don't jack around with other people's money. You don't do that. And I think it was a bit of a mistake on my part. Well, you thought it was a mistake because Jon Rahm left. You saw the money and you're like, that's big money. Wonder if I can get a taste of that. Because now I realize that not everyone is in my position or in Tiger Woods' position. Really? Where you fly private? Where everything you want is handed to you? Really? Where you got more money than you'll ever spend and you can spend it as much as you want? Really? You didn't realize that? You didn't understand the tour you were on, yet somehow, some way you felt like you were going to be the spokesman, but you didn't realize that there are journeymen out there that are trying to get into, you can put that back up, that are trying to get into tournaments, that are trying to make a cut, that are trying to make enough to pay expenses and pay agents and pay everybody else. You didn't realize that? This is just now dawning on your sorry ass? We all turn professional to make a living, playing the sport that we do. And I think that's what I realized over the last 2 years. I can't judge people for making that decision. Oh, you can, and you did. So I wonder, there's always a backstory. I wonder what really happened here. I wonder if he got blowback because, well, he's been a jackass to so many people. I wonder if Rahm, who has a fiery temper, he's savvy. I wonder if he walked out and said, McIlroy, you criticize me, I'm going to pound you into submission. Or maybe he saw the life that Jon Rahm now has. And he's like, wait a second. But to say you didn't understand what the other guys on the tour were really dealing with is insanity. Then why speak? I mean, this guy McIlroy was speaking for the entire tour. He made it as if he, not Fincham or whatever the guy's name is, was the commissioner. He judged everybody. He cried. He bitched, he moaned, he whined. And yet here he is. After he gets more information, how about you do this, dumbass? Again, just shut up and golf. How about you know the facts before you start criticizing, before you start taking on other players and their finances? Because now all of a sudden you're saying, well, I didn't know. Hell, I didn't know guys didn't make hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Who knew? I mean, this is what I say about athletes. They talk before they investigate. They talk before they know. See, I say this all the time about this show, and I say this all the time about other shows that I've done. If I'm going to talk about it, I've thought about it. I don't just sit here with Nick and Nick and say, all right, we're going to talk about McIlroy, we're going to talk, and not have thought about it. So your immediate reaction, because I've thought about it, is, yes, I agree, or no, you're stupid, you're really dumb, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what to tell you. You haven't thought about it. I have. And then eventually you come to my side of things because then you think about it. It happens all the time. Twitter guy crushes me, or somebody hears me on a radio show and they're like, huh, makes sense. But McIlroy was so divisive, so strong in his opinion, so judgmental on others, that coming back and just saying, hey, man, I'm sorry, I didn't know. Nobody in golf is going to criticize him because there's no Johnny Millers. I'm surprised Brandel Chambly, the only guy that I actually pay attention to. I mean, thank God Paul Azinger's out of there. Honest to God. If we can get rid of Curtis Strange, that'd be good too. I actually need to broadcast everything, but I digress. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, what? I didn't know Jeff Overton made some money for a while, had some problems, and now is trying to get back on the tour. I thought everybody just swang and made millions. Oh, let me tell you one last thing about this. Not one human being on that tour needs frickin' Rory McIlroy's approval to do nothing. Not one damn thing. Back to Indiana for just a minute. Did you know that my alma mater went to Nebraska and lost by 20? And if the game had gone on any longer, they'd have lost by 30. Now, is this a slight to Nebraska? Absolutely it is. Yeah, I don't care. I don't want to hear it. Yes, Nebraska has great fans. They've got a great arena. And the Haymarket District, I think is what they call it, is one of the best, if not the best setups in the entire Big Ten. Certainly better than Assembly Hall, than Minnesota, than all these other places. Better than where Purdue is located in terms of the gym. I mean, you walk right across the street after a game, you celebrate, you have beers, you eat, you go before the game right there. Purdue, Indiana, you got to walk for miles in the cold. No. But damn, now I'm starting to understand what a lot of you have told me. Indiana hadn't been any good in forever. 11, ladies and gentlemen, 11 Elite Eights since they started in 1900. 1984, I went to the Elite Eight with Indiana. I didn't understand. I just thought that's what we do. There have only been 3 in the 40 years since. Hell, Duke goes to the Elite Eight like it's their job. Michigan State goes to the Elite Eight like it's a birthright. Hell, Connecticut goes to the Elite Eight like it's just who they are. North Carolina's been to more Elite Eights in a century than Indiana, in this century, than Indiana has, I think, in its lifetime. So I'm dead wrong. Dead wrong. It's over for Indiana. I can never admit that, but it's just garbage. We start a 6-year senior that I don't know if he faked an injury, I don't know what he did, but he couldn't play, and we just bring him in the starting lineup. Oh, okay. All right. Makes sense to me. We got dummies coaching Indiana.